whole booth is Ohtani. Yeah. They're noodles. They're noodle straps. Yes. Hello, it is day one of Anime Impulse Los Angeles, and it is the last event of my 3 back-to-back cons, so I'm very excited that I can finally have a free weekend, which is quite nice. Obviously very grateful that I still do these conventions, but a girl's tired. But anyway, I am table neighbors with Ivy, which is so exciting. We actually didn't plan out being next to each other. We just got lucky with table placement because if you're familiar with Anime Impulse LA and the way that they do applications, since we're on the priority list, it's first come first serve, so you have to put a table into your cart and then check out, but it's a whole process. And I did get cart swiped a few times, but I did tell Ivy like I did want this specific area, and so I just tried getting a spot in this particular aisle, and we just got lucky with being table neighbors, so it was luck, very lucky. I do have a few new things with this current table layout, even though I feel like every weekend I've had new things, but one of them being my vinyl covers. So I did end up investing in these vinyl covers because if you know from my display, I usually use a rigid board for my pins. However, I noticed that it can get really heavy, especially when I'm flying to conventions. And so I thought we need to update it. And I did it for the pins and the new keychains, and I do like it. It makes it a lot easier when it comes to setting up, and I don't have to bring extra wire grids. That's an unnecessary weight that I don't need to include in my luggage when I have 50-pound limits. And so it's quite nice. I will say I'm still trying them out, but I know a few friends who do have vinyl covers for their grid displays and they've liked it, so very excited to have this now. I've also tried these new 3D printed shelves, which I ordered from Sando, and it's really cool because you might have seen them if you're in Artist Alley Instagram. I don't know if they're on TikTok, but I know I noticed them on Instagram. They create these 3D printed displays. You can use them for prints and for stickers. In my case, I ordered the files on their website and then got these 3D printed, and they're quite nice. I will say, even though I do have some text on some of my stickers, it doesn't fully show the bottom, but in my case, this is a little bit better than when I have the acrylic displays, and at least you can see most of the designs, and I'm pretty happy with it. So we're gonna try it out for this weekend. I did end up getting 4 of these printed out, and we'll see how it works.
I'm back. It's Anime Impulse. We're not table neighbors.
No, he's over there.
But we're close.
I left
That's
my
booth.
tripod there.
My 3rd one.
Yes.
And I've never parked in lot 9. I don't know where that is.
Good for you. Lot 9's not that great if you're a vendor because there's hills. It's not fun.
I came in like about 40 minutes before opening, so it was a little bit later than I had anticipated, and so all the other vendors are showing up at that time. There was a line coming in, and then there was like this fence, and everyone was going forward towards the entry, and then they were redirecting us back towards the fence, and then security was all jumbled. They didn't know what was going on.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Ivy's like looking. She's giving us funny facial expressions. Yeah, she was here early.
I literally came just to get an early parking spot, and then I did my nails and my lashes in the car.
Yeah, we have to get here early tomorrow to walk and film content. We did film a few videos today, which is good, but I need to film more things because their next event is not till next month. We're all going to be at Friend Fest.
Oh, you're doing Friend Fest next?
Yeah.
No.
You can catch us all at Friend Fest. In San Jose.
Find us
Yay.
there.
You can find us there.
Threaten with love.
I will
take you there with. I decided to go with the vinyl because I don't like how heavy my stuff gets, and I don't want to deal with it. And it's so easy.
Isn't it so nice with pins now?
Yeah,
You just like take it off and put it on
yeah.
instead of having to like glue it on.
Let's see her display, how she covers it.
Where'd you get the vinyl? Like,
I got it from Rune Studio. They're the ones that I got the tablecloth and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
they're the ones.
I was like, this was like a good temporary thingy, but it falls off.
I'll let you know because this
which
is the
is
first time I'm
annoying.
using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a command hook, like command strip.
But it honestly looks good though.
Command strips, and then sometimes I have to magnet if it gets a bit heavy up top. But this pins are so much easier to do with just the poster board because it just sticks on. But these ones are a bit more.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, I'll let you know because for that one, I have to see what the unit price is. Oh my God, my helper's being threatened. He's being. Oh no!
I was like,
I don't
oh,
think
hey.
you're allowed to do that at cons.
The best way to hold a plushie is with the chokehold. I judge the plushiness of a plushie by whether I can hold them by their neck or not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we made cookies. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Really, I try to make it thin because
I like thin cookies. If this is the first time that you're watching any of my vlogs, hello, welcome. I'm Macy and I'm the artist behind Mualcaina, and I like to create cute kawaii anime art. And essentially on this channel, I do post about artist alley vlogs, content creation, small business stuff, and everything in between. And this is my 4th Anime Impulse Los Angeles. And I will say, after seeing how Impulse has done throughout the years, I would say my best one was the 2nd Anime Impulse, because I've been doing this since 2023. 2024 was my best one. And I believe that was because it was the year after where it was raining. And that year was the first time that the weather was quite nice. And seeing how the past couple years have performed for me personally, I have pretty low expectations for this convention given how Anime Los Angeles went for me last weekend. Low-key, it felt like weeks ago. My expectations are very low for this event because I don't think it's going to go super amazing for myself at least. I do feel that in my business, I've gone in a more stable sense of revenue. Oh, intercom. There's an intercom here. I'm very excited for this event because, one, the Asian American Expo is peak. If you didn't know, Anime Impulse is just one of 4 other events that are happening in the same location. So with your ticket to Anime Impulse, you are granted access to Asian American Expo, which is known for their Asian goods at a very steep discount. There's also Collectors Expo, which is known for cards. K-Playfest, which K-pop stuff. Is there Sneaker Expo? I don't know if Sneaker Expo is happening, but sometimes some of the events rotate, but those are the 3 other ones that I know are happening besides Anime Impulse. So pretty good deal, especially if you're coming with a whole family. Everyone has different interests. They're bound to find something that they like here. So I would say because the Los Angeles location of Anime Impulse draws in that big crowd, especially because of Asian American Expo, usually this location is the most busy compared to the other ones. Because Anime Impulse also has different events all throughout the US. Most of them are in California. The ones that I've done before are Bay Area and OC. And there's also Dallas. I don't know how well Dallas goes. I heard that it's okay, but it is still a first-year con, so I wouldn't expect too much. But of the 4 events, this one is the most busy, and it's also the most established since this has been going on even before 2020. But we are in a different hall, so we're in Hall 6. This is what the hall looks like. This is the same hall as K-Play last year. I'm not really sure why they moved us because we used to be in Hall 8 the past 2 years. I did think it was an okay hall. I didn't really think much of it. I did like how last year they did put up lights, string lights, because it looked really cute. But other than that, I was pretty satisfied with Hall 8, so I'm not really sure why they moved us, especially since Hall 8 was closer to where the vendor hall is. I'm not complaining because the entrance ways for Hall 6, there's no stairs, so it's a lot easier for us with suitcases. Either way, I'm very excited for this weekend, so I'll let you know how it goes. It is currently 11:35 and an hour and a half since con started. I will say it was a pretty slow start because people were just slowly trickling in. However, from what I've noticed with this type of event, usually most people, especially the normie crowd, tend to go to Asian American Expo first, just to get their haul and everything. So if you go to this event, you'll see that there are a few people with little wagons because they're bringing in their haul of all the goodies that they got, because I'm telling you, like, it is a very good deal if you come here for the food, because I think, what was it, a couple of vlogs ago or a couple of years ago for the Anime Impulse vlogs, I remember Jackie of Shop Goobers Only, she bought like 2 boxes of the moon pie, but like the banana version, for only like $1. But that was because it was the extras, and usually if you wait till the last second, they might give away some things at a very, very steep discount. So I would recommend, especially if you're here as a vendor, you should stop by the Asian American Expo. It is a very good deal. I know there's some where I think we bought like a whole box of banana milk for like $7. Recommend it. So you've done Anime Impulse before. How many times have you done Anime Impulse?
500. This one. I've done a lot of other Anime Impulses, but this show I've done 3 times.
Yeah. So for this convention, now that you've done so many events at this point, whether that's college events or anime conventions, but in this case, because the viewership is mostly revolving around anime cons, which con would you say that this is as similar to in terms of revenue, I'd say?
It changes for me all the time, so I can't say for sure. Ironically, my best anime impulse has been Bay Area so far.
Interesting.
But that's because I think I keep growing my booth to more and more products. Not like variations, but just more items of the same product line. And so I think after the end of this weekend, I hope that this will be my best anime impulse, so it'll probably level out after this year. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Like, I know you also do OC, but would you say that Bay Area was your best one, at least recently, because you're physically there?
I think it's usually better when I'm physically there.
Yeah, I think for myself, last anime impulse, again, it's still early, it's only been an hour and a half, so it's kind of hard to compare this weekend to last year. But last year's numbers of Impulse LA were actually on par with Bay Area for myself as well.
I don't do a lot of 2-day shows, so it's hard for me to tell and compare this to another one. A lot of the college events are like 4 to 5 days, and then most of the conventions I go to are like 3 days, so I can't really compare in terms of overall revenue. But I think it's going to be good.
So in the SoCal area, the only other major 2-day anime con is the NerdBot convention, so Anime Pasadena, Anime Riverside. How would you say that those revenue levels compare to this one?
It's probably similar. I think Riverside could be similar. I've never been to Pasadena. I probably never will be at the Pasadena Convention Center in my life.
Right. Yeah, I would say similar perspective. The NerdBot events tend to be about similar to Anime Impulse, even though the crowd does seem to be very different. In that, as I always say, the NerdBot cons feel more like the anime portion of a comic convention versus Anime Impulse seems to be very anime oriented, even though both are anime oriented. So for this weekend, we are in one stamp rally because my goal this year is to cut down on the amount of stamp rallies that I'm in, because I've noticed that I've been dedicating too much time on my stamp rallies and the stamp rally prizes that I could have used that time for my actual products. So for this one, we are in a Smisky stamp rally. Hack, if you want to save money on stamp rallies, is to cut them in half. So at least in our case, we ordered a 4x6 stamp card, and I believe the dimensions for this is 2x3. So this is how it looks. So obviously you can tell that we did cut it in half, and I just designed it on a tube. Oh.
Still prizes left, right?
I have one prize left. Did he text in the group chat?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. We're running really low on the Smisky prize. I actually underestimated how well it's doing, to be honest. You could say that it's because there's only 3 of us. So usually with a smaller number of participants, people are more likely to participate because you don't have to shop from so many people. And in our case, because it's only $12 minimum, and if you're spending $36 minimum total, and to get 3 separate keychains, I would say that's a pretty good deal. Plus, Smiskies are very popular right now, but we're going through all of them. I think this is the last pack for myself. I know Ivy just finished hers, and I don't know how many Henry has, and I'm waiting for him to respond, but I would say it's a pretty successful rally in our case. Also, as a caveat, I did pack them this way, or at least my helper did, mostly because I had a bunch of these extra bags that I got from Craigslist. They were free, so why would I say no? And because I didn't want them to go to waste, because I don't really use those types of bags. They were pretty big. We just had them folded up like this, so yeah.
Jack and Jeannie got us so many.
Oh my gosh! Wait, that's
like,
so much.
Pack of sticks of meat.
What?
And 2 like.
Oh wow! Dang! Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. We will not starve. We're delivering this to Ivy. I hope I don't poke someone's eye out. Bye. Thank you. Yes. Yay. Oops. Oh, Henry has skewers.
Oh,
you got it?
I got it.
Yay!
So I have Claire picking me up. I'm gonna go head home and then probably come in the evening.
Yay! Congrats! Yay! Delivery! Yay! It is 1:56, so almost 5 hours till con ends. Yeah, I will say that it has picked up a little bit, which is amazing. Really appreciated. I actually haven't had a chance to look at numbers, but it seems like sales have been going, especially since the Smisky rally has been doing really well, so it's all good things. One hack, which I think I've shared this during Anime Frontier, but if the convention or event does allow food inside, one thing that I do recommend doing is having a second drink. So in our case, because we did have boba yesterday, we went to Momo. We got a second drink so that we would have some for today. Even though it does says best enjoyed within 2 hours, it is definitely past the 2 hour point, but at that point, I just don't get the tapioca pearls and I just get the regular milk tea. So then at least it's still relatively fresh. So I'm gonna enjoy that. Very good. Now I'm caffeinated for the next few hours and I'm not gonna fall asleep. So that's good. I found Ohtani. In Japan, I found Ohtani. Oh, are they giving away green tea? Wait. Oh. Ah! Oh my god, the whole booth! The whole booth! The whole booth is Ohtani. Oh no, I got so excited my phone turned off. I love this booth already. Hello, it's been quite a long amount of time. I don't know why I sang that. It's been a long time since I updated y'all. It is 5:19. It has been getting dark. However, there's still about an hour and a half until con ends. I would say walking around, it's been pretty busy. It does feel a little bit more busy than Anime Los Angeles. However, you can also say that it might have been more packed here because the aisles are smaller compared to where I was at ALA. Actually, I haven't had a chance to look at numbers yet. However, looking on the Discord and talking with friends, it does seem that Impulse was a little bit better for them compared to ALA, but I know for a few other people, they said that ALA was slightly better for them. So obviously it depends on the person, but I would say that both cons go bar for each of them, mostly because they're pretty different in a sense. While they both are anime conventions in the SoCal area, ALA is 4 days, so you can expect revenue to be a bit spread out versus Impulse, where it's only 2 days. People are more pressured to buy something because there's only 2 days at this convention versus ALA, where most people do have a 4-day pass, so they have more time to think about what they want to purchase. I will say for this convention, I have noticed a good amount of Ohtani sales, which is quite nice. Also very excited because I saw an Ohtani booth, as you probably saw earlier. I was very surprised. I'm surprised no one had told me about it, even when buying Ohtani stuff at my booth, but it's okay. I will say for this convention, there is a lot of different people who tend to go to Impulse because usually with anime conventions, there is a specific demographic that you tend to see. However, for Anime Impulse, especially the Los Angeles one, because there is a mix of Asian American Expo and the other conventions like Collectors Expo, K-Play, it's a big mix of audiences. That's why for this convention, there's definitely a lot of normies because some of these people do go to Asian American Expo specifically, and because their ticket does allow them into the other events, they go to those. So definitely a big mix of people. There might be some people who might not be used to artist alley etiquette or the culture of anime conventions, and so maybe they're not sure how to buy things. Like one example is that people might grab something from your stall, ask if they can buy it, and it's not necessarily a self-serve item, but they don't know that, right? Another one is if they're not familiar with stamp rallies because they don't really go to anime conventions where it's a little bit more prevalent now. So it's just little things like that, not necessarily a bad thing, just something that they're not familiar with. But overall, I still really like this convention, a lot of good food, lots of great people, and it's only 2 days, plus it's local, so everything's pretty solid over here. This is what I have to do with.
Hello! I can't do this anymore. I want to go play.
Let's see what we got with the Indomie. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
You're not.
Oh, what is it?
Indomie.
Let's see what we got with this haul. Asian American Expo is truly where it's at. Like, look at how much. Guess how much this was for this whole box. And you get a free tote bag and you get this fan. Guess. Comment down below. How much do you think this costs? Please let me know. This is also a really nice tote bag. And look at the straps. They're noodles. They're noodle straps. Did you guess? Did you guess how much it is? 20. Oh, also with that, this whole box. How many are there? Oh, wait. Is there 30 in here? Look.
There's 30?
Is there 30? Because, okay, it says 6x5 packs. Maybe there's 6 of these. And in 6 of these, there's 5. Okay, now that you know that there's 30 in here, how much do you think this costs? It's $15.
$15.
$15. 15 bucks. What a deal. I love Asian American Expo. I'm just here for Asian American Expo. Just kidding. This is my job. I have to be here. But $15 is so good. What the heck? Back for the 3. What is it? 2 for $25. We got 2 of them, actually. So she went back to get more. Other than that, I am very excited about katsu. I believe we're getting katsu for dinner. I've been thinking about it this whole time. I love katsu curry. Great day today. See y'all in a little bit. Hello, it is day 2 and the last day of Anime Impulse Los Angeles. It is 8:30 in the morning. Looking at yesterday's numbers, I would say that I'm relatively satisfied, mostly because it seemed like it was pretty similar to last year, and just going from the whole summary of last year's events, as long as it's about the same as the previous one, I'm fine with it, because it seemed as if 2025 did go on a downturn a little bit when it came to conventions, and if it's the same as the previous one, I'm very happy about it. Some information about Anime Impulse Los Angeles. For an artist alley table, I paid $450 and it came with a 8x8 booth space. You are able to fill it however you want. Similar to how the SJ Made events are, you can essentially create an inline space if you'd like, but for myself, I just opted for the typical artist alley table. It comes with one 6-foot table, 2 chairs, 2 badges, and you do have to pay for parking. I believe it's about $20 or so for parking. I will say we didn't get charged when it came to setting up, so I would say it does depend on the venue, because sometimes they might charge you during setup day or sometimes they don't, so I would just keep that in mind. But for this event, they didn't charge us on Friday. I will say being in Hall 6 now, because as I've said previously, we used to be in Hall 8 for the past couple years and just recently switched to this location. Because we're in this hall, I would actually say that there's no bad placement in the artist alley. I know in the beginning, the entrances used to be in the east corner. However, since we're in a location where there's also activities happening behind us or on the west side, I would say that there's a lot of people coming in from either side. So even if you're in the quote unquote back, there's still people coming in. So if you're concerned about location, I would say you'd be fine wherever you are, because this hall is also pretty small. There's not a lot of artist alley vendors, and it seems like they decreased it from past years when we didn't have a booth space. But now that we have a little bit more space, there's a lot less artist alley vendors, and there's just no bad location, in my opinion. I will say that this application system for Impulse is a little bit juried / first come first serve. And I say juried mostly because they do allow priority for vendors who have vended with them previously, and you had to have vended with them the year prior. And I used to say that you can't really get in unless you're in the priority pool. However, I know for this convention, they did allow some general artists to come in, because I do remember seeing their posts on Instagram. So I do recommend, especially for Impulse, definitely follow them on Instagram, because they seem to be more active on there with applications, even though they do have an email list. But out of all of the Impulse locations, LA is the most difficult one to get into. Now, would I recommend Impulse LA for most artists? I would say yes. However, it does depend on how established you are, because if you're a new artist and you have to fly over here, I would say no. However, if you're able to keep costs low, you have free stay, maybe you have someone who can drive you here and you can keep your costs under $1K or so, I would say you can try it. However, Impulse doesn't allow table sharing, which does impede for a lot of new artists who do want to try and want to keep their costs low, because in comparison to events such as Anime Los Angeles, where table sharing is allowed, and I don't believe there's a limit as to how many people can share a table, it's a lot easier to keep your costs really low. In the case of Anime Expo, Anime Impulse Los Angeles, and a lot of the SoCal conventions, they are starting to move into a direction where you're not able to table share. I will say that even though Anime Impulse LA is a bit more difficult to get into, I know that K-Play Fest is a little bit easier to get in. I would say that a lot of the artists who haven't been able to get a table have been trying that event. I would say that as an anime artist and as someone who has done K-Play, at least for the Bay Area location, I would not expect the same revenue, because they are still attracting different audiences, even though a lot of the attendees are overlapping. It's still a little bit different than if you're in the proper location where your audience is. I will say it's still a pretty good experience. There is a good amount of traffic that does enter the K-Play area, but in my case, as someone who is primarily a kawaii anime artist, I tend to do better at the Anime Impulse side. And you also have less space in the K-Play area. It is a little bit cheaper, I think by $25, but you don't get a booth space. It's essentially similar to what Anime Impulse used to be 2 years ago. But going back to the question, if it's worth it, if you're local, I would say go for it. If you just have to drive, I'd say go for it. Usually for 2-day conventions, I wouldn't fully recommend it for someone who does have to fly in. However, I have noticed a few people that I recognize from other conventions that are definitely not from California and probably did fly in. But for a lot of the newer artists who might not have as much money that they're willing to invest for a convention, I would just say don't fly for this con unless you're used to flying for conventions, have done conventions, and know how it goes. I will say, which is interesting, I know a lot of people's concern is, would you do more poorly at Anime Impulse LA if you did Anime Los Angeles? Because if you're not familiar with the Los Angeles geographical area, Anime Los Angeles is located in Long Beach. And Long Beach is about, I would say like an hour 20, maybe a little bit less than an hour and a half to Pomona, where Anime Impulse Los Angeles is. Usually there's that concern that there might be an overlap of audience, and I do usually view it in that way. However, surprisingly, I did a little bit better at Anime Impulse Los Angeles versus Anime Los Angeles, and some people tend to view it one or the other, where they might do better at ALA and vice versa. However, some people are more willing to travel for ALA because it is a longer show. There is more potential for revenue compared to Impulse Los Angeles, where it's only 2 days. And while there is still an overlap in some cases, because I do remember in past Impulse Los Angeles, some people might say, oh, I bought from you from ALA and so on, or I bought this from ALA, but I don't think that that's fully the case. That might also be because I debuted some new keychains, but I don't think that that can fully create that effect for the sales that I made this weekend. And I still think that there is a different set of audiences that go to each of the events, because for ALA, obviously it's primarily anime, but for Anime Impulse Los Angeles, it's a mix of people. Sure, there's people who come for Anime Impulse, but there's also people who go to Asian American Expo, K-Play, Collectors Expo, and those audiences mix, and so it's still vastly different than the people who attend Anime Los Angeles. So I don't think that me dipping into both conventions would fully affect that, but if anything, it just helps with sales. Plus, at the end of the day, like, I'm from LA. It wouldn't make sense for me to not do one or the other if I do get into both. So I wouldn't say no to it because I can keep costs like very low. Essentially with this convention, the only thing I'm paying for is parking, helper, food, and then the table fee. Though in the case of someone who's traveling, if I were to recommend one or the other, I would say the less risky option is Anime Los Angeles because it is longer, you have more potential for revenue, but Impulse LA, while it does do well for me, it can be risky because you have less opportunities for sales. We did end up having to put out a sold out sign so people know that we are out of keychains, because there are some times where, not just for this convention, but some people might come up saying like, oh, we completed the rally, but then they didn't know that we were sold out. So this is usually just a good way to let people know that we don't have any more prizes. If you didn't already, I do stream on Twitch. I stream once a week to once every other week, where I work on convention prep, small business tasks, hanging out with artist only friends, and so much more. If you're interested in any of that and don't want to miss my next stream, consider following me on Twitch down below. It is at Mualcaina. This is when you know that I'm mentally healing, because the fact that I have this many self-serve items, because I am trying out a self-serve model for my stickers over here, and then my self-serve sticker sheets, plus my mystery keychain bags that are self-serve, because a couple years ago I would not have the guts to do this. I would have been too scared, but at this point the revenue is just worth the fear of people stealing. Like, at this point, like, if they steal, they steal. That tells me more about them than it is about me. Usually sales are a bit more encouraged when it is self-serve rather than menu style. I don't have menu style for my pins just because I have so many. This would honestly take up the entire space if I had all of my pins as self-serve, so I'm just leaving it as menu style. Same thing with my keychains, I would probably do menu style, but for everything else, it just makes sense to do self-serve. So not really sure if I want to pursue this with all of my other events, but so far it fits it pretty well. If you want to support me and this channel, I do have a Patreon. I have 3 different tiers on my Patreon where I post sneak peeks on upcoming merch, extra business tips, and so much more. And even in the Biz Buddies tier, I also post reviews on conventions that I've done that I don't typically share on social media or YouTube. So if you're interested in any of that or just supporting this channel overall, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I will have the link down below. 3, 2, 1, jump. What the? Oh, he's fully assimilated. She got a table, yay!
Everything just worked out perfectly because Bestie was just in town. I was like, pick me up, let's go home. Went home, grabbed my stuff, drove all the way here. It worked out.
Yay! We're on a hunt for some good deals at the Asian American Expo while we just opened. My helper's manning the booth, and it's time to get food. I don't know where they went. We're trying to find Shamim and Ivy. First purchase. Yay! 3 for $24. It's pretty good. Ohtani! We found him again. Yay! What?
It's amazing.
Tastes amazing.
Oh, it is up to size.
Yeah. Shamima's Ohtani. Confirmed.
Confirmed. My secret.
Wow.
Snacks and food are.
Yeah. Oh my god, we're going crazy with the holes. It's my favorite milk tea. Yeah. Wow, we went nuts this time.
It's fun though. We should buy like
She got so many.
My work loves it.
Oh, it's a bag. It's a backpack. I should wear it. Wait.
Oh my god, it's giant.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
Are you happy? I'm very happy.
Yes. This is so good. Truly an experience. Great show. I love Anime Impulse because it lets me get into Asian American Expo.
True.
Now we got all this good food. I love it. Time to go back with our goods. Tell me why as I was turning around. What is she doing? She's cutting her bangs. Honestly, I need to trim my hair too.
Log getting in my eyeballs.
This is why you need to provide trash cans at cons.
Help.
Ponytail Macy makes a very rare appearance. It just felt like it. I think it's because I don't have my hair claw. But anyway, it is 1:05 and it's been a few hours since con started. I will say that it is a pretty slow start. There's not a lot of people roaming Artist Alley, and I wondered that because I know last year it was about the same where there was a pretty slow start with Sunday for Impulse. However, usually the case is that most people like to sleep in or they have church and so they're not able to make it right when con starts. But for this case, which I totally forgot that this happened because we were not on the same weekend as usual like in January, but there is a car swap meet. I think, I don't know, but I remember this happened a few years ago and I remember that's why there was such an issue trying to get into gate 17 because the line was so ridiculously long if you were not lined up by 8. And because we did arrive pretty early, I think it was way before, it was probably like 7:40 something. The line wasn't too long getting into gate 17, but this time I did notice on the Discord that some people were having issues with trying to get into gate 17. The line would kind of snake around, so you were kind of forced to go into gate 9, but I didn't want to be in gate 9 because if you remember from the first couple vlogs, I think it was the first vlog that I realized you should not move into gate 9 as a vendor because there's a hill and I do not want to go through that hill when I'm loading out. So I needed gate 17 because it's the closest one to the hall, plus it's flat. I'm not about to move my wagon, move the suitcases through frickin' hills, so gate 17 it is. But it has picked up a little bit with the amount of people flowing through. That's also, I think, it's like, what was the point of me mentioning that? Essentially, there wasn't a lot of people roaming the halls because, one, it took a long time for people to get through, especially if they went to gate 17 to park because lots of people. But also number 2, a lot of people are at the Asian American Expo and usually they like to go to that section of the event because that's when they have the food deals and usually it's best to go during that time because if you wait later on, they might sell out of things. However, one of the caveats if you do go later in the day is that the food vendors are more likely to give you better deals. Like if you buy something, they'll add in a few more free things. But, you know, you're kind of risking that you might not find the things that you want because it's sold out, which you might do. I do want to go to the Asian American Expo again and see if there's some more things that they have or some things that I was looking at, thinking about it, but they have it at a better discount, or maybe there's a few more new things with it that they wanted to add as freebies, so we'll see. This is so interesting because it's like, so this is how they just work their display. It's like those little hook things.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, that's so funny. We took a jalebi. I paid for it. Yay, jalebi. He's so precious. And he's.
Hold on.
What?
You gave me one of yours for free.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
Return the 20 when you make a plushie.
Okay.
Okay.
Stickers and plushie.
Yeah. Shark.
Shark.
Shark plushie.
Should make a shark
You
plush.
should. So cute. Oh, he's being thrown. So cute. It is 6:30, so 30 minutes till con ends. Went to Asian American Expo once again, got a lot more deals, which was great. What did I get? I got this whole tin of egg rolls, which was fantastic. It's not too sweet, really good. We had a try and I'm like, you know what? Not bad. We got it for $5 for 2 of them, so me and Shamima split one, so I got one and Shamima got the second one. And then in exchange, Shamima gave me some of the, is it cognac? Yeah, very exciting. Yes. Yes, Ivy. It's me! Okay, now that this is your first Anime Impulse Los Angeles, what is your opinion on this event?
It's decent. I think my comparison has been like this versus how Anime Impulse OC is
yeah.
because I have experience with that one. And I came in anticipating it to be better, and it is, but it isn't by like leaps and bounds. It's just better. But it was as I expected it to be. It's a fairly decent con.
Yeah, like it's a solid con. I would say this one's more fun just because of Asian American Expo and there seems to be more people because I know some of the Anime Impulses don't have Asian American Expo. I would say same thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I met my expectations.
Now that you know how Anime Impulse Los Angeles went in 2026, if you're curious on how it went last year, watch this video to see my Anime Impulse Los Angeles vlog from 2025, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!